Anthony Albanese just got absolutely destroyed at a country summit, and what happened next will make your blood boil. While hard-working Australian families are choosing between heating their homes and putting food on the table, our Prime Minister had the absolute audacity to stand in front of angry farmers and pretend his renewable energy fairy tale is actually working. But here's the kicker that'll make you want to throw your remote at the TV. Pauline Hanson just dropped a bombshell that exposes exactly how Albanese been lying to your face about energy prices. You think your power bill is bad now? Wait until you hear what Albo's really planning for Australian families. This isn't just about higher electricity costs, this is about a Prime Minister who's so disconnected from reality that he thinks telling struggling families that their bills will stabilize is somehow good news. Meanwhile, Pauline Hanson's been digging through the numbers, and what she found will make you question everything this government has told you about renewable energy. Picture this absolute disaster. Albanese rocks up to Charles Sturt University for the National Bush Summit, and he can literally hear protesters chanting outside his window. These aren't professional activists or paid demonstrators, these are real Australians who are fed up with being lied to about energy prices. Farmers, families, small business owners, all united in their fury at a government that promised cheaper electricity and delivered the exact opposite. But here's where it gets absolutely infuriating. Instead of admitting his failed, Albanese had the nerve to stand there and sell his renewable energy pipe dream like some kind of snake oil salesman at a country fair. You've got to acknowledge how people feel, he said, like he's discovered some revolutionary concept. Mate, people feel angry because you lied to them about bringing down power prices. And while Albo's trying to sweet-talk angry farmers, Pauline Hanson's been doing the homework that journalists are too lazy to do. She's been crunching the numbers, following the money trail, and exposing the truth about what renewable energy is really costing ordinary Australians. This isn't just about wind turbines and solar panels, this is about a massive wealth transfer from working families to renewable energy billionaires. Here's the smoking gun that Hanson discovered. Albanese's cheaper energy promise was based on completely fictional modeling that assumed technology costs would plummet and grid stability wouldn't be an issue. In reality, the opposite happened. Every time we add more intermittent renewable sources, the grid becomes more unstable, backup systems become more expensive, and guess who pays for it? You do. The farmers at that summit weren't just angry about their power bills, they were furious about being treated like idiots by a government that thinks they are too stupid to understand basic economics. Some farmers are making money from renewable projects on their land, sure, but that money comes from subsidies paid by other Australians through higher electricity prices. It's the ultimate shell game. Rob Peter to pay Paul, then pretend you're helping both. But wait, it gets worse. Albanese actually had the gall to mention mixed feelings about the renewable rollout. Mixed feelings? That's like saying Australians have mixed feelings about being punched in the face. When your electricity bill has doubled in 3 years, mixed feelings doesn't quite cover the rage bubbling up in suburban kitchens across the country. Hanson's research reveals the true cost of Albanese's renewable obsession, and the numbers are absolutely staggering. We're not just talking about the direct cost of wind turbines and solar farms, we're talking about the hidden costs of grid upgrades, backup power systems, transmission lines stretching thousands of kilometers, and compensation payments to renewable energy companies when the grid can't handle their output. Every single one of these costs gets passed on to consumers through higher electricity prices, but Albanese's energy department has been hiding these costs in separate budget line items to make renewable energy look cheaper than it actually is. It's financial sleight of hand that would make a casino operator blush with embarrassment. The community consultation process that farmers complained about. That's code for "we're going to steamroll your object irons and build whatever we want wherever we want it." Local councils get overruled, environmental assessments get fast-tracked, and if you don't like massive industrial infrastructure in your backyard, too bad, the renewable revolution waits for no one. Here's what really happened at that summit. Albanese got confronted with the reality that his energy policies are a complete disaster, and instead of taking responsibility, he tried to gaslight an entire room of people who are living with the consequences of his failures every single day. These farmers aren't stupid, they can read their electricity bills, they can see their local communities being torn apart by renewable energy projects, and they can smell political BS from a mile away. Hanson's expose reveals that Albanese's energy department knew from the beginning that renewable energy wouldn't deliver the promised price reductions, but they went ahead anyway because the political optics were more important than economic reality. Internal documents show bureaucrats warning about cost blowouts, grid instability, and community resistance, but these warnings were buried deeper than a wombat's burrow. The protesters outside that university weren't just making noise, they were sending a message that regular Australians are sick of being lied to by politicians who live in climate-controlled offices in Canberra while families in the real world choose between turning on the heater or buying groceries. Their anger isn't manufactured or manipulated, it's the authentic fury of people who've been betrayed by their own government. But here's the part that'll make you absolutely livid. Albanese's response to this crisis is to double down on the same failed policies that created the mess in the first place. More wind turbines, more solar farms, more transmission lines, more subsidies for renewable energy companies, and guess what? More costs for you. Hanson's investigation uncovered evidence that energy companies are deliberately gaming the renewable energy system to maximize profits at consumer expense. They are building renewable projects in locations that maximize government subsidies rather than locations that minimize costs, and they are passing every single cent of inefficiency onto Australian families. The substantial benefits that some farmers receive from renewable projects, those payments come directly from a levy on every Australian's electricity bill. It's not the renewable energy companies paying farmers out of their profits, it's you paying farmers through higher electricity costs. The whole system is designed to socialize the costs while privatizing the profits. Meanwhile, reliable baseload power stations are being forced to close not because they are uneconomical, but because government regulations make it impossible for them to compete with heavily subsidized renewable energy. We're deliberately destroying our most reliable energy sources and replacing them with weather-dependent alternatives that require massive backup systems when the wind doesn't blow and the sun doesn't shine. Albanese's energy policy isn't just an economic disaster, it's a national security catastrophe waiting to happen. When your electricity supply depends on weather conditions and Chinese-made solar panels, you've surrendered energy independence for the feel-good politics of renewable virtue signaling. The farmers at that summit understand something that Canberra bureaucrats refuse to acknowledge: energy security matters more than energy symbolism. You can't run a farm, a factory, or a family home on good intentions and climate activism. You need reliable, affordable electricity, and Albanese's renewable fantasy delivers neither. Hanson's research proves what every Australian with a functioning brain already knows: renewable energy might be renewable, but it's definitely not affordable. The only thing that's sustainable about Albanese's energy policy is the sustainability of higher electricity bills for working families. This isn't about being anti-environment, it's about being pro-reality. Australia has some of the world's largest coal and gas reserves, the technical expertise to use them cleanly and efficiently, and the industrial infrastructure to deliver reliable baseload power to every corner of the continent. Instead, we're shutting down perfectly good power stations to chase renewable energy unicorns that exist only in the fevered imaginations of climate activists and renewable energy lobbyists. The community consultation process that's got farmers so angry, it's a complete sham designed to create the illusion of democratic input while steamrolling local opposition to massive industrial renewable energy projects. Communities get a few token meetings where they can voice their concerns, then bureaucrats ignore every objection and approve projects anyway. Albanese's acknowledgement of mixed feelings about renewable energy is the understatement of the century. Australians don't have mixed feelings about renewable energy, they have extremely clear feelings about being lied to, ripped off, and treated like idiots by politicians who promised cheaper electricity and delivered the opposite. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Australian News CC family where the real stories come to life. See you in the next one.